here with Pamela Rose, and she is the creator of two programs. She's the creator of the 3-week fatigue rescue and the fatigue reset. And she's going to tell us a bit about those. Hi, Pamela, how are you?
I'm really well, thank you. It's lovely to be here and get to talk to you and explain a bit about my courses. So yeah, sure. So I mean, by way of background, I created these to allow me to get my help out to people in more accessible ways because not everybody can commit to the costs of one-to-one coaching, and also my time is often full, so I wanted to get help out to people in other ways. And one of the things that I've become pretty well known for is helping people crack pacing. And I don't just help with the kind of theory of pacing and what it is and it being an ethos and something that you bear in mind. I've got a method, I've got a way to do it where you can kind of balance, you can work out how much energy you've got every day, so you can make smart decisions about what to use it on, and you can balance different days that might look completely different, but you know that they're weighted similarly as far as the energy you're using. So that was starting to help lots and lots of people, but I was getting in the way. So the first course I created was my fatigue reset, which is where I've carved out that pacing approach. I'm not a big fan of one size fits all approaches. Everybody's journey, as I'm sure you would agree, is different. We're all different, hey? But I've managed to carve out enough of my pacing approach and turn it into an instructional video-based online course that kind of walks you through how to figure this out, how to take my method and make it work for your life. It's like I'm coaching you from a distance. It's short, bite-sized tutorials that walk you right through some early mindset stuff that's important when you want to crack pacing, because you got to accept that you need to pace, first of all. Then I explain the method and lots of help and support. And then I have also some subsequent guidance about how you can, when it's the right time, lift it up to a more intuitive way of pacing once you've learned what's important for you. So my fatigue reset course is very much just about pacing. It's on demand. You sign up, you get access, and as soon as you've done that, you can start to watch it. It's not heavy in content, short bite-sized videos, and even if someone can only watch 20 minutes a day, within 4 days, they'd be easily, enough of the way through that they'd be starting to put it into practice. Yeah. So that's the fatigue reset. And then my 3-week fatigue rescue program builds on that. Okay, it talks about pacing, definitely, but it covers a few more really important elements too. And the ideal, it works for all sorts of people, but I suppose when I was creating it, it was for people who had maybe been on their journey for a little while, either new on their journey or had been on their journey for a little while and just felt they weren't quite figuring out the really important basics, and so it's covering those important basics. It's the things that everybody really needs to tackle to some extent, like I say, that mindset about acceptance, certainly pacing, how to kind of start to learn what your body's telling you so you can keep yourself as smart as possible, how to rest, such an important part. And I remember myself on my own journey thinking, am I resting enough? Am I resting too much? Is this the right kind of rest? So we cover that, a lot of mindset stuff, but in a very practical place. The help I give is real practical tools and techniques and guidance that you can do today that's going to make today start to feel better, and tomorrow and the next day. So it's mindset things that will help you cope with the day you're having to deal with. If it's a difficult day, how to deal with those, but also how to deal with good days, because you have to be careful. You have to be careful on those days too.
Yeah. You don't go too far. Yeah, it really, I mean, your programs, and they're quite affordable, and it just seems like a really good place for people to start when they
Yeah,
don't know, when they either if they've recently got the illness or they haven't quite figured out pacing and the
yeah.
general lifestyle stuff. That's definitely what I'm getting from your programs.
Yeah, I mean, I know a few people come and do my courses as a sort of to get them into a more steady, stable place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then they feel ready to go off and perhaps work on, brain training or whatever it might be, because I truly think until you've found that place where you're feeling a bit more steady and stable and life is feeling just a bit more consistent, doing some of these bigger, more healing practices, programs, protocols, whatever you want to call them, they're just not, your body's just not going to receive them as well as they would otherwise, it would otherwise. So yeah, although that said, I have people coming on especially on the 3-week fatigue rescue course that have been on their journey sometimes for kind of 10, 15, 20 years, and they still send me feedback that they've learned new stuff, that they've still been able to refine their approaches or add in something completely new that they hadn't heard about before. So they do work for everybody, but I guess when I was designing it was for people who are early on or who just never quite felt they've cracked getting to that stable place, and I love learning them.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, what did you say?
No, I was just saying it's so valuable to have at the start. Yeah, I could have used that earlier.
Me too. And you might have heard me say,
Sorry, is there anything that you would say that like separates your program from other programs that are out there?
oh, it's interesting. You know, being really honest, I don't get into too much of the detail about the other programs that are out there because I don't particularly want to be, influenced or whatever by them. I'm very confident in my lane and I know what helps people. And so I'm not too sort of knowledgeable. The interesting thing is I can tell you I'm often told by the people I help that my approach and my way of looking at how a journey needs to go is very aligned with the ANS program, Dan's program, and that it complements his quite well. He goes into a bit more detail about some things that maybe I don't, but then I get into more detail about things like pacing. He talks about very much the how important it is, but doesn't actually sort of get instructional about it. And we use quite similar language where, we're just very complementary in our ways of talking about things and looking at things. And I only know that because I get told that, quite often from people that have done his program.
Yeah, no, I think that is what separates you is you're sticking in one particular area. And that can be very useful for people to just have one area to focus on instead of trying to learn all these different things at once. It can be overwhelming when we're in this state. So I absolutely agree. Well, can we just ask one personality question for you? What animal do you think you would want to be if you were an animal and why?
Oh my goodness, what animal would I want to be? Gosh, this is an interesting question. Oh, you see, I'm drawn to saying cat, but that's because I adore cats. And I think, and I think this time of year I like kind of just getting cozy and what have you. But then on the other hand, I like the idea of being something a little bit more, a bit more unusual, a bit more sort of different. Oh, I'm trying to think. Something with a lot of energy. Think of, something that now that I'm back and I'm feeling as if I've got, the energy to do whatever I want, I'm trying to think of an energetic animal. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Kangaroo bouncing about.
Oh gosh, that's adorable. I think cats good too because they have good boundaries and they're good at pacing themselves. I think that kind of fits with you as well. They're
they're in Australia and I love that country, so
the kangaroos too. Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for your time and I really appreciate you telling us about your programs.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks very much.